So exciting. We can see we have you arriving for our lecture. Very, very good. More arriving. We'll just wait a few moments for everyone to arrive. Just settle down, enjoy yourselves as we ponder the deep things of education, the deep things of database, and we try and activate your learning. Let's do things a little bit differently. That's what we're going to be doing today. But I see still people rushing into the back of the lecture theatre there. Come and settle down, settle down. Yes, I can see everyone slowly making their way in. Nice to have so many of you here. Ismail, Lakmin, Mohammed, Nick, Odwa, Prince. Oh, so many. Tembeka, Wiseman, Kalani. Welcome, welcome, welcome to all of you as you make your way into the hallowed halls of learning. What do you think about my hat? Cool, eh? Yeah, I know. I just thought that would give me a bit more of an academic feel for this experience that we're going to have together. And my twin is here as well. There's two of us. Hi, Craig. Right, good to have us both here. I like to sometimes keep an eye on myself to make sure that what I'm saying makes sense. Okay, so what we got? Just past 3 o'clock, and we've got a few of you in the room. That's good to have. So before we get going, big welcome. Nice to have you here as we unpack, repack, depack, all of those things. This first part of the course, which is to do with database. Obviously, by now, I think you should know that. So the objective of today's session is just to really activate you a little bit in a slightly different way. We've had lots of different approaches from our I lectures to creating things, to chats, to conversations. I want to do something a little bit different today again, just to keep your learning going. One of the big shifts for those of you who are interested that I have been putting and pushing for a long time is a shift away from the old approach where we deliver content and then at the end you assess that content. What that's called is it's called instructivism. You instruct and then at the end you have what's called summative assessment. You have an assessment right at the end, and typically a lot of schools and most schools and universities are built on that model. It's a very outdated model. And what's been exciting for me is to suddenly see a change and an opportunity to change how we do things. And so the change is, lost me for a second there. The change that we're seeing is a shift from this old approach of produce content and then assess people at the end to a new approach where we learn and assess at the same time, because they really are part of the same thing. So, and that's what I've been trying to do in the course. Every time you do a little quiz, every time you go through one of the I lectures, what you're doing is you are learning and assessing yourself at the same thing. And that's what's so vital. And what this whole COVID crisis has forced us to do is suddenly say, well, we can't assess in the old ways, because the old way was I give you a whole whack of content and I see how much you can remember. And really, in the Google age, is that really something we need? It's more about your ability to grow and to learn and to be able to apply these things. And that's what's really important. And so it's been exciting to see that this crisis has forced a lot of universities and schools to rethink how we deliver content and what learning even means. So that's what we've been forced to do. And hopefully you've enjoyed a little bit of that in this course. Right. So what we're going to be doing is, I think at this moment, I might just look at my hat. Yeah, I could go with something more like that. Yeah. Or maybe, as this sometimes feel a little bit old school, we could do this from inside the TV, or we could just go back to normal. So let me just settle down into my cafe here and talk about things. So this is going to be an active session. Lovely to have all of you who have made it here. I'm going to be sharing my screen. You might wonder, well, I can't say anything. I'm stuck inside this sort of webinar-y thing. Exactly, because what I want to do is I want to activate us in a totally different way. I don't need to see you, but I'll give you an opportunity to show your face if you wish later. I need to hear your brain. I need to see what's inside your thinking, and I need to activate you in that way. So what I am going to do is share my screen. Okay, so You should be seeing a screen with a lovely looking fellow waving at you. What I want you to do is head across. We're going to be using Menti to assess your learning, to activate your, to really see where you're at. So what you're going to do is open a browser, open your phone, open another tab on your laptop, menti.com, and put in the code 3783023. So that's what you need to do. Put in that code, menti.com, and we are going to have some action. So when you're there, to show me that you're there and that you are ready for the action, I need you. Yes, I want the love. I'm feeling the love. I've got one heart of love that has already appeared. Hit the heart to show me you're there and ready. Now, paint the picture. I did warn you, you've got to come and bring your brain and stored. We're going to be having a quiz. I'm sure these must be prizes. I'm sure there'll be prizes. There'll be prizes that are sponsored by our sponsors as soon as we find out who our sponsors are. And we are going to be having conversations, and we're going to be doing a whole lot of fun things. And we're going to be reflecting on our learning journey. So let's see. Could you repeat the code? Yes, I could. The code, and I'll type it in, is at the top of the screen. It's 3783023. 378302-3, and you just go to www.menti.com. So I'll put it in the chat. 3783023. There we go. So you should see the code at the top of your screen, and I'll leave it on the top of the screen for a little bit so that we can you can all see it. And thank you. I'm seeing a lot of love pouring through there, feeling the passion for the learning. Excellent. Well done. That's exactly what I was looking for. Right. So I can see we've got about half of you have made your way into Menti. I'll give you another minute to get there. Some of you scrambling. This is, if you know anything about my teaching approach, it's about active. Me sitting here and talking to you, this is not what this is going to be, because there is no learning in that. Learning is engagement. So grab that device, open a second tab, get yourself into Menti. You can hear me. You don't even have to see me. All you need to see is the screen and what you are appearing on your device. So we're getting closer to more of you coming in. Fantastic. We've got, well, I've got 27 hearts there. So I'm assuming that's most of you. Hit the heart, so I know you're there. So there are still about another 20 who are still trying to find their way, walked in the back of the lecture at the last minute. Right, so let's get going. You can still join menti.com, code 3783023. Let's see what a little bit of activity on the brain can bring to us. Right, so first up, what's on the menu? Well, this is what's on the menu. What we're going to have a quick look at today. We're going to look at what's past. And by that, I mean, we're going to have a little bit of a brain check. We're going to see what you have understood, what you have remembered. There's going to be some quiz questions. They're going to be loads of fun. That's the first thing we're going to do. And that's probably going to take up a first major portion of this. Then we're going to look where we're at, just resetting what we've got at the moment, what's got to happen now this week and next week. So you get a little bit of a view of that. And then finally, what's coming next. So I've called that brain check, brain tweak, and brain prep. Got it? Yeah. What's past, where we're at, and what's next. Yeah, got to do. That's what's on the menu. And to me, that looks pretty delicious. So let's get going with our menu. And we're going to start with checking what's in your brain. Okay. So now, this is where you need to loosen up. Get just to roll the head a little bit. Got to loosen up here because we're having a quiz. And it's going to be a fun quiz. It's going to be a quiz that the faster you answer, the more points you get. And we're going to see who comes out as the ultimate winner of this quiz, the one who's really engaged with the course. Obviously, if you know anything about me, I'm going to throw in some trick questions. I'm going to throw in some fun questions. And we're going to have a few little questions right through to the end. So we'll do a whole lot now. Then I'll drop in a few so we can try and dethrone those who think they are the cleverest. So the way it works, question is going to appear on the screen. You answer it as quickly as you can on your device there on menti.com. The faster you answer, the more points you're getting. Remember that. But obviously, if you answer fast and wrong, you get 0 points. So there is a need to think, you know, like, oh, whoa, he's trying to trick me. And see it. And then that other guy's just going crazy. He's got, you know, the clanging cymbals in the head is going to get it wrong. So Are you ready? Because here we go with our quiz. It's time to check your brain. Right. Thumbs up if you think you're going to be intelligent. Thumbs down if you think you're not going to be intelligent. And cat if you're just generally confused. Let's see how many people think they're intelligent, how many are just confused, and how many are like, I'm not so clever, I'm not so bright. Right, at the moment we've got 12 saying, yeah, 14, I'm in a rocket, 2 saying I'm not, 10 saying, I don't know if I'm a cat. Okay, looking at the numbers there, 17, 18 still pumping, 2, no, 13 confused, okay, but we have the majority are thumbs up, ready to prove themselves. But of course, someone has defected from the thumbs down saying, I didn't know, to either a cat or a thumbs up. Right, so we've got 13 cats. Those I have no idea. 1, don't know what's happening. And 21 saying, I'm in a rocket. Well, now comes the time to shine. Okay, so get ready, join the quiz. You should automatically be joining the quiz. You can either use the name that's automatically given to you, or you can change your name, but this is your opportunity to show how good you are. As I said before, it's all about the faster you answer, the more points you get. Now, sometimes that doesn't matter. Some of the questions you need to type in an answer, so that sort of means that your spelling's got to be a little bit right there, but they're not too complex. I've taken like write down the longest word in the English language, which obviously you know, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. So that one would obviously be important that you got the spelling right, but I wouldn't ask you anything more difficult than that. Right, I can see they have all joined. We have 40 participants. Now, considering we have 54 of you sitting on Zoom, there are 15 odd of you who are like, what's going on? Right, so if you're one of those who are on Zoom and haven't yet joined us on Menti, it's not too late. Quickly go to www.menti.com, use the code 3783023, and you can still join. But for the 40 who are here, this is your chance to prove yourself, to see how much you have learned so far in the database section of the course. And we got a late arrival that's just managed to squeeze in as we begin. So, question number 1. I have keys, but do not lock. I have space, but have no room. You can enter, but not come in. What am I? That's a tricky one. Type in your answer. It's a riddle. As a clue, all computer people should get this right. 5 seconds, get your spelling right. 3, 2, 1. Oh, time up. That wasn't a lot of time. I know, but how did we go? 90 people managed to get an answer, and all sorts of code, bread, Zoom, database, and the correct answer is keyboard. Yes, of course. I have keys, but do not lock. I have space, a space bar, but have no room. You can enter. Of course you can, but not come in. Yes, it's a keyboard. Right, piano, yeah, computer, yes, but not accurate enough. Bread, what? Car, encryption. You know, some people say it's got to be database. I'm just going to write database as the answer for everything. Right, so let us see how the leaderboard looks after that first round of questions. After the first question, tricky little one, let's have a look at our leaderboard. Right, so everyone who got it right will get max points for this question because it wasn't a time-based question. So Sun, Car, Jay, TK are at the top of the leaderboard after question number 1. But don't worry, early days. Plenty of time for those who have not yet got themselves on the leaderboard to get some points. Question number 2. Okay, get ready for question number 2. Are you ready? Here we go. We got 41 of you ready to go. And this one, the faster you answer, the more points you get. The DBA is responsible for which of these? Five seconds left. 3, 2, 1. And most people got the answers in. Time is up. The DBA is responsible for enforcing procedures and standards. Well done, 42, getting it right. That is impressive. I feel like my job is done, at least as regards this particular question. 1 for procuring all new technologies. No, They may be involved in that, but that's not their primary function, hiring technical staff, etc. Well done to the 42 who chose that answer. And now the faster you answer, the more points you got. So let's have a look and see who is at top of the board now. And Sanal is still top with Jaga, Kara, TK. Kat was the fastest. So Kat, well done. But obviously you didn't pick up your 1,000 points in the previous round, but don't worry. There is plenty of opportunity. Right. So well done, everyone, on the second question. Right. Question number 3 of 13. Here we go. Get those fingers ready. Question number 3 of 13. The big S of the DBA's job is, you would remember this if you've listened to the lecture, scalability, strategy, or strength. Quickly, what is the big S that the DBA needs to be thinking about? Scalability, strategy, or strength? 1 second left, and there we go. The time is up, and people saying scalability, strategy. The correct answer is strategy. Yes, that is the big thing a DBA focuses on. They focus on strategy because the database sits at the foundation of your business. We talked about this. Everything is built on that. And so they need to strategize how this is going to be solid to provide for the information needs of a growing organization. So very important. While a DBA has a technical role, we've talked about this, they have to focus on strategy. Very important. Well done to those who got it right. But have we got any change here? Let's see. The Eichmeister looks like he might have been the, oh no, who was the fastest? Keshav was the fastest, but Sunil at the top, Kara, Jager dropping down, and Keshav in the top 4 with Kat coming in there just in number 5. Right, excellent. How we go? Brain still on. Question 4. Make sure you are alert and your fingers are nimble. Question 4. All correct answers get max points. So you've got to type in the answer. A something is a logical unit of work. So don't rush it. You've got 20 seconds, just get it right. I like some people typing the answers in the chat. Thank you, Indabula. It's much better if you type your answers in Menti, if you aren't already. A transaction, people are suggesting, and the correct answer is a transaction. Well done. So a transaction is a logical unit of work. People saying a server, a topology, an energy, a database. No. We talked about this. We talked about when you have a logical unit of work, it consists of multiple elements. So for example, a transaction could be to update the savings account of someone in a database. That update or a transfer could involve subtracting from something and then adding to something else, or it could be reading from something, adding to it, and writing. It consists of multiple parts to it, and all of those parts put together are called a transaction, and they must all occur, even though there are different physical parts to the transaction. So a transaction is what's considered a logical unit of work. So when a transaction happens, it either all happens or none of it happens at all. And that's very important when it comes to designing our databases to be consistent. Right, looking to the leaderboard. What do we have? We've had a few. 2 didn't get any points there. Things have changed. So now holding up at the top there, Keshav, Snee, and Sakura, Kara, and the top 5. And I see, very nice to have Cyril Ramaphosa's grandson coming there at number 9. But sorry, grandson, not yet on the top, but it doesn't mean you can't. Jager, I remember you were flying high with that aeroplane earlier. Don't know what's happened. Dropped off down to the bottom, number 10 there. But remember, there's a lot of people in this, so top 10 is not bad as we come to question number 5. Brain turned on. This one is about answering fast. The lost update is a problem caused by the serial execution of transactions. True or false? Quickly. The lost update is a problem caused by the serial execution of transactions. Is that true or that false? The faster you get it in, the more points you're going to get with just a few seconds left. 2, 1, and Indabuli suggesting false. And the correct answer is actually false. That is correct. Well done to those who got it, but we've got a 50-50 here. Okay, now what's the problem? Why do we have half of you saying the lost update is a problem caused by the serial execution? It's not caused by the serial execution. It's caused by the concurrent execution of transactions. Let me explain it to you. What happens is when you have transactions, you have transaction 1, then transaction 2, and then transaction 3, and transaction 4. And typically, if they happen serially, it means one happens and finishes, and the next one happens and finishes. Like, I think I used this discussion in the I lecture. It's like when you watch a series, whatever the series is you're busy watching. And when you're watching that series, you watch episode 1, it starts and finishes, and then episode 2 starts and finishes, and episode 3. That's why it's called a series. It's serial. And there's no confusion. You don't stop watching part of 1 and then halfway through 1 start watching 3, and then you start 2 and then 1 finishes, etc. If you do that, that's what's called interleaved. But that is how a database operates, because a database can't wait for the first transaction to finish and then the second one to start and then the third one, because it would be too slow. The way it operates is interleaving. So transaction 1 starts and it hasn't even finished when transaction 2 has started, and then 3 started, and then 1 carries on. And because it is interleaved like that, we have the problem that we can lose what's called an update. So one of the transactions updates isn't complete and it gets overwritten. So the correct answer there is false for those of you who got it. Right, reflecting on the leaderboard, have things changed? Oh, the sun at the top is still shining. Getting it right. Puffy getting it right. Batman the fastest, so climbing up to position 8. We've lost Cyril, the grandson, and Eber's hanging on there in position 10. But well done to Sun and Puff and Kesh, holding up the top 3 positions as we go into the next question, getting close to the halfway mark here on question 6 of 13. Here we go. Get your answers in fast for max points. Which of these is not a rule of two-phase locking? All right. Bit of reading to do there. You have to be quite quick. Well done. I'm impressed. Okay. So it is a rule that 2 transactions cannot have conflicting locks. So you can't be trying to lock the same thing with exclusive locks at the same time. The one on the other side, no data are affected until all locks are obtained. That's absolutely true. With two-phase locking, the way it works is you get all the locks. And once you've got all the locks you need to make your changes, you make your changes and then you unlock everything. And that's why it's called two-phase locking. It has a growing phase where all the locks are acquired, shrinking phase where all the locks are released. No lock operation can precede an unlock operation. Well, that doesn't actually make sense, because obviously that's not a rule, because it has to. You lock first, you unlock second. So maybe the other way might make sense, and that would have been false. But in this case, no lock operation can precede an unlock. Well, that's not sensible. Obviously, you have a lock, then you have an unlock. Okay, so that one is false. So well done to those who got that right. And it took a bit of thinking there, because you had to be on your toes. And I hope you'll see some of these questions you've seen before, which is part of how I like the learning to happen. Right, but some were fastest. Ismo, fastest, flying up all the way to position 5. Well done to the ears. We've had a little bit of a shake-up here. Rakesh sneaking at the bottom there. We've got Cat, Londi, Puffy, but the sun holding on, shining bright at the top with 5,300. Very, very good. But still can be overthrown. Puffy, Kesh, Shay, Ismo, Londi, Cat, Nick, Eb, Rakesh, and others can still come through and claim the day. Right, so here we go with question number 7. Get your brains in gear as we hit question number 7 of 13. All correct answers give max points, so take your time. You got to type in the answer. Deadlock is sometimes also called the deadly what? Spell it right. It's not about speed. You don't have to rush. Deadlock is sometimes also called the deadly what? Right, again, if you watch the I lecture, you will know exactly what this is. I wonder what it could be. Oh, I so love the deadly whatever. Right, just a few seconds left. 5 seconds left. Get your answers in now. 3, 2, 1. And thank you in the chat room. I'm seeing someone putting in embrace. Right, well done. The correct answer is the deadly embrace. Excellent, excellent. I'm afraid, unfortunately, I think if you wrote out deadly embrace, you didn't get it because it said a deadlock is sometimes also called the deadly, and was looking for one word. That's the problem with technology. But if you just wrote the word embrace, which is what we were looking for, you got the right answer. And we will see who got that. Right. Everyone who got it got 1,000 points. Well done to all those people. 1,000 points to all of you, with the sun holding on, shining bright at the top, with the Kesh, the Shay, the Ismos, and the top 4 and 5 down to Londi. Excellent. Right. Time for a bit of a pressure question. Question 8 of 13. You've got to answer fast for this one, and this is what could upset things. Dijkstra's dining philosopher's analogy illustrates that. What does it illustrate? Yo. Two seconds. One. Yo, you had to read fast and answer fast there. And well done, 21 of you getting it right. Right, and Nabula, who's answering in the chats for us, you correct. It is the second one. 21 of you getting it right. Right, so Dijkstra's dining philosophers, I told you this beautiful story in one of the I lectures about this concept of deadlock occurring between a whole lot of people who were trying to eat spaghetti. And really what it was illustrating is what number 2 says. A deadlock can occur when 5 transactions are involved. Deadlock can occur between 2 or more transactions. Deadlock's not just something where one transaction is waiting for this one and this one's waiting for that one. So you've got transaction 1 waiting for transaction 2 and transaction 2 waiting for transaction 1. Deadlock also occurs when transaction 2 is waiting for transaction 1 and transaction 1 is waiting for transaction 3 and transaction 3 is waiting for transaction 2 or whatever. So you've got a cycle. And that's what Dijkstra's dining philosopher's analogy was about. The other answer is deadlock occurs only when transactions are serially executed. No, deadlock actually occurs when your transactions are interleaved. Deadlock can only occur between 2 transactions. No, that's not true. Deadlock can occur between more than 2 transactions. That's why it's a cycle. Deadlock can only occur when spaghetti locking is used. I don't even know what that means, but 3 of you went for it because you probably went, didn't that Dijkstra thing have something to do with people eating spaghetti? And so you went for that. But nah, it wasn't spaghetti. So well done to those who answered correctly. And let's have a look and see the leaderboard. Okay. The fastest there, Sun, shooting fastest, so holding on to his lead. Shay, Keshav, Ismo, Cat, Nick, Ebb, Londi, Koli, Lombo, and others below you. Well done. The leaderboard still being dominated by the top 3 there. But here we go. Question number 9. This is a speedy one. Again, you've got to get those thumbs. Data results in information, which results in actions, which results in what? Noise, information, data, or tuples. You've just got a few seconds. Man, those answers are flying in there. You're 32 of you already with just a few seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and time is up. And here we go. Data results in information, which results in actions, which results in, and I saw in the chat room being suggested, knowledge. No, it's a cycle. And we talked about the information cycle. So data, when you've got data, you can summarize a data, which will give you information. You can then take information. So let's say we analyzed the student database, that's data, and we looked at that and we got some information. So we saw that students are failing a certain course or not doing well in a particular course. That information now results in action. So what we do is we now have an extra session, a lecture, whatever, an intervention around that course. So that's an action. What does the action do? Well, the action produces more data because now we can see how the students have done the course, which produces information, which can be analyzed for information and action. So it's a cycle. And so data, information, action, back to data. So 26 of you getting that right. And a few of you going astray on that particular question. All right. So when we come to the leaderboard, did the Sun get it? He did, but might not have been the fastest. The Cat was very fast. The Cat is looking good there. Well done, Cat. Cat jumping up to second place. There is a tussle just below the Sun. Ebb, Kolile, Lombo, Shay, all trying to fight their way to the top. And of course, it's always possible to dethrone even those who sit on the very top. As we come to question number 10 of 13. This is going to require speed once again. Which of these is false? Quickly, quickly, quickly. You can do it. Which is false? Three, two, one, and time up. That required brain. Okay. Ooh. This was a burner, and it looks like with all that writing, which I like one of the pedagogies that I've talked about in this course, and we'll talk a little bit about it later, is the pedagogy of chaos. Now, what we're using at the moment is actually a combination of pedagogies, and these are all active ways of learning. So we're using at the moment correction, where you actually learn by making mistakes. It's very important, and by getting things right. And so using things like quizzes and a quiz layer in videos and in various other ways, we're engaging that pedagogy. Now, the pedagogy of chaos is about creating pressure, because what does pressure do? Pressure really makes us focus and gets our brain to another level. And that's why sometimes overloading you with that, you look at that and you go, ah! Even if you get it wrong, it's valuable, because now as you reflect on it, you can start to see and understand. And so it is part of the design to sometimes make it a little hard. So 12 of you getting that right. Which of these is false? Okay, decision support system data is normalized. No, it isn't. So essentially what you do is when you have a database, you have two major parts to it. You've got your operational data, which is the result of transactions. So as things happen, it's operational data. It's vital that that is normalized. Otherwise, you'll have all sorts of data integrity problems. But what happens is with your operational data, we then take that and we have what's called a data warehouse, which is to do with our decision support system. So there we have aggregated data. We have data that is historic. It's data that's dumped there. It's rich data. It's big data. That data is not normalized. And it's not so important that it needs to be normalized, because we're not trying to use it operationally. We're going to mine it, but we're not using it operationally. So we could have multiple copies of things, which you wouldn't want in a transactional database. Operational data is the result of real-time data updates. That's correct. Operational data is from real-time updates, so that's why it's operational. DSS data is typically larger than operational. That's correct. But your operational data gets replicated into your DSS data because you keep historically. So you got so operational data shows you what something looks like today. DSS data shows you what it looks like today, yesterday, the day before, etc. DSS databases contain summarized data. Yes, that is true. DSS databases also take summaries of data as well. So it's this big mix of all sorts of rich data that you can use to help make decisions. So how do things change? Let's have a look. Ooh, Sun getting it. Lombo getting it. Puffy getting it. But lots of the top 10 not. We could have a shake-up. Oh, we've had a little bit of a shake-up here. Sun's still holding on. Well done. But we've had a little bit of a shake-up, things moving around. This is the stress, as I saw someone said. That's good. Brains on fire is what we want. Exhausting. All right. Here we go. Question 11. We're getting close to the end. Fast for points. Pressure again. A data mart is a single subject data warehouse subset. True or false? Oh, it's a 50-50. It's a 50-50, surely. A data mart is a single subject data warehouse. 50-50. I see in the chat we've got a suggestion that it could be true, but time is now up. Is it true or is it false? And 38 of you going with true. Well done. The crowds go crazy. Absolutely, yes, that is true. So a data warehouse is where you are taking all this aggregated DSS data for an entire organization. Often becomes unwieldy, often becomes difficult to analyze. And so what data marts do is they try and silo it into smaller, essentially data warehouses and around a single subject area. And so that's what a data mart is. It's a single subject data warehouse. So it's still a data warehouse, but just focused on a single subject. Right, so how do we see things panning out? Did the sun still shine? Oh, Nick looking fast there, but who was the fastest at that round? We're going to have not much of a shaker. Cat was fastest. Well done, Cat. But Sun still holding up at the top and Lom second. Right, so holding on. The top 10 are now trying to bed down into their positions and not wanting to give up those critical positions. Question 12. Here we go. It's getting tense. Remember, just relax, use your brain, use your thumbs, and all will be right. And you don't have to stress about this one because it's max points. Some months have 31, others have 30. How many have 28 days? Type in the answer. Okay, I'm looking for a number, like type in the number. You know, like whatever you're typing in 47, type 47 and write it out. There's no rush. You don't have to rush for this one. There's time. Some months have 31 days, others have 30. How many have 28 days? It's a really simple question. Just type it in with just a few seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and time is up. How have we gone? And the majority saying 1, but the correct answer is 12. Oh no, there's drama here. Oh no, I think there could be drama. We've got all sorts of answers, people writing February. How is February an answer when it says how many? There's a fundamental little learning lesson here. In exams, in tests, in life, when you get a question and it asks you whatever it asks you, read it and answer it as it is. So if someone says how many, well, you could answer a number or you could answer none, but answering February is not really an answer to how many. But anyway, as we have it, the correct answer is 12. Why is that the case? If you don't believe me, go and look at your calendar and you'll see that every single month of the year has actually got 28 days in it. Isn't that amazing? Some of you thought only one month had 28 days in it. They've all got 28 days. So you'll see there's a number 28 in every single month. January got 28 and February got 28. That's absolutely amazing. But has it messed up the leaderboard? That is the question. So here we go. Oh no, the sun's got it, the lom's got it, the cat's got it, the puff's got it. But those next 3 haven't. Oh, and they've dropped right down as Karak, Prince, and Kolile have now jumped up. Whew, there has been a shake-up at the top of the leaderboard in the last second to last question. This is traumatic. I'm going to hold the last question for a little bit. So we've got one more question. I'm going to save that one right at the end because it's always good to keep that little question at the end just to see if we can mess with everyone. So where are we at? Okay, so we've looked at a little bit of looking back and a bit of reflection, and well done everyone so far. I'm impressed with what you understand and what you've managed to recall and how you've performed under the pressure. Very important also to me is to make use of questions that you see multiple times because it's also part of learning. We talked about this pedagogy of correction. See a question, get it wrong, see it and get it right. That's part of learning. You know, as I said earlier, the questions are not just to try and give you a mark. They're actually trying to be part of your learning process. So well done. So where we at the moment, just to quickly take stock of what's happening. For those who are interested, for those who like pressure, this is optional. There is what I call a pressure test. It's going to take place on the 30th, which I think is, what is it? Tuesday, 27? Yeah, no, 30. There's a Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The 30th between 9:30 and 10:30. You only have that time to do it. It would probably take you, if you're going to do it properly, about that much time. You can come and then do it whenever you like, but within that time, by 10:30, you'll be shut out. It's not a test. If you think it's a test, like you're going to be answering multiple choice questions, it isn't. It's different. It's a pressure test. It's to put pressure on you. It's something different. And yeah, what I'm trying to do is actually see how you perform under pressure, to see how you do things in it. If we don't do too well in this, will it negatively affect our mark? No, it's a minuscule little thing. So if you participate, you benefit. If you don't, well, then you don't benefit. It's up to you. And we'll see when you get to it. It's yeah. I'll leave it as that. It's more a learning experience than a mark thing, because that's what I want these things to be about, learning experiences, not so much about the marks. So yeah, it'll have, if you don't do it, it'll hardly have any impact on what's happening to you. If you do it, you will just benefit from the learning experience. Right. So that's what's coming up this week. Then obviously there is the assignment, which is due, and I've heard from some of you and what you're doing. looks very good. Some of them, they sound very exciting, what you're doing. Remember, this is a group assignment. And every year, I know what it's like. You get the ones who don't do anything in the group, etc. And then there's complaints. The reality, unfortunately, we're always going to have people that don't do something. And it's probably none of the people that are bothered to attend today. But we need to learn to manage those things, because that's part of life. And try and get people as involved as possible so that everyone is a participant in it. Because if you do it together, you can produce some really great results. And so, as you know, this assignment is really about trying to not only help you focus on your learning and distill it, which is what I like about this particular assignment. It's also about producing an artifact of your learning. And that's something I'm very aware of, because I'm involved in a lot in interviewing people and having students like yourselves who go out for jobs. And one of the biggest problems that we have is that when you go out for jobs, all you've got is that piece of paper, that's like, there's my degree. And you don't really have any evidence in addition to that piece of paper to prove why you're good at what you're doing. I mean, you might have done a 3-year degree in BCom, comp science, or whatever it might be. And people are looking for more evidence, especially when the guy next to you comes with evidence. And even all of these little things become evidence. I built a little game. I created an infographic. I made a video around databases. It's a small thing, but it's a piece of evidence. And if you were doing this for all your topics, imagine by the end of it, you would have gone through however many topics you've done in your degree and lots of little artifacts that showed you with demonstrations of what you could do. You would have a great portfolio. And so we talked about this early on in the course in one of the previous weeks, but about building your online presence, building your digital presence. And these are the sort of things that can eventually be there. So I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. And again, it's not just about the learning experience. It is about that. It's not just about the assessment. It is about that. But it's something that if you have put in a decent amount of effort into it, you should be proud enough to say, you know what, I will put this out there. I will have this as a link on my LinkedIn profile, which by this stage, hopefully you've all got, because that's going to be vital if you want to find yourselves decent jobs going forward. Putting yourself out there, stepping above the others. Right. And then next week, it's the final database assessment, and it's going to take the form. There might be 2 parts to it. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do the other part, which might just be for fun, but part of the assessment. Because your assessment mark, as you see, is made up of all sorts of things. So this first part of the course, a database counts 50%, which, as I've mentioned before, is made up of all your online things, all those little quizzes and all the activities and the things you're doing. It's made up of your project, and then it's made up of this final assessment as well. 45-minute assessment. It is primarily a multiple choice, and you start and you go and you finish. You won't see the mark at the end of that, because that has to be then validated. And also the other thing with that is it has to be completed within that window of time. And essentially, I'm not here to trick you once again. And you're going to see no, I can't say more about that. You'll find out about that later. But I'm not here to trick you. A lot of these questions are questions you've seen before. Okay, so hopefully you're not going to have the being like, oh man, what the heck is that? You shouldn't. I'm not here to come up with something like, wow, I am all for, if you have worked through the course content, if you have done your bit, you should be able to get through that as well. And so I'm hoping you're going to find that it's not that difficult, but that's going to be the final database assessment that'll take place next week. And then where does that bring us? Well, it brings us to what's next. And well, someone's asking, what's the code to enter in Menti? The code is early on in the chat, but it's a bit late to enter it now. But if you still want it, it's 3783023. 3783023. But what's next? Well, what's next is the next part of this course. This is ISTN3ND, is made up of databases, which you've done in the first part. And then you're going to be heading off with a networking section. So that's going to be done by some other lecturers. Hopefully you've enjoyed the database part this far. For me, it's always been an interesting subject for me, database, because it's boring. Yet it's fundamental. It really is fundamental to building information system. But that's what's been so exciting for me, because it's boring, but I wanted to challenge myself to how we could make it engaging and meaningful for students. And hopefully you've experienced that at a level, that even though stuff can be boring, if we engage on the content, if we break it up and we do it in different ways, it can be meaningful, it can be active, and it can be very powerful to you, and at the end of the day come out with something. So hopefully you've enjoyed that so far in that. So then you're going to be, as I said, you're going to be picking up on the networking part, which is going to come next, and I'm sure that's going to be equally fun and exciting. Right, a quick one here. If you had to use one word to describe your database learning journey so far, so your experience in the course so far, what would that word be? So you can write one word, and some of you are not following the instruction and write two words, but anyway, you'll see why I want it to be one word in a moment. So I'm going to give you a moment just to think about if you have to use one word. I know it's not easy sometimes to come up with one word. This is part of what Chaos was about, distilling, like, what one word will I use to describe this cake that I'm eating? And it's about distilling it down to that one word. Right, so I'm going to show you what, in a word cloud, what people are saying. Right, so the bigger the word, the more people are saying that word. And that's why I kept it off so you weren't influenced by others. Exciting, that's cool, and interesting, fun, good. And there's quite a few when for very good. Exuberant, lekker. Fantastic, wonderful, awesome. Right, good. So I'm glad that overall that it's a positive sense. But again, as I said, you know, the 50 odd of you a year, which is about a quarter of the class, are probably the people who are the exciting, adventurous, interactive, fun type learners. Some people are still submitting number 8. Was that the answer for that question 3 ago? Right, so great that you guys found it interesting. I think that's really important, but equally not just interesting. I'm glad that you found it exciting, because even though, as I said, these things can be dry and boring, if we approach them in the right way, that they can be very valuable to us. So thanks for your answers there. Right, so here we have it. It is the final question. At the end of our time together, the final question. Can we dethrone the sun who shines from the very top? Can those who are at the bottom still scramble their way to appear in the top 10? Can we dethrone maybe number 2 and 3 on the podium? Who knows? We come to the final question. And this question, I'll tell you now, is about speed. But of course, you could answer wrong, or could you? I don't know. Get your fingers ready. Loosen up. Sun, you're at the top, but this could be your undoing. Here we go. The final question, answer fast to get max points. I am going to quickly get your answer in. There are just seconds remaining. 3, 2, 1, time's up. And what did you answer? We've got a spread: do well, do great, do amazing, and they are all correct answers. Yeah. Oh, this is called Hobson's choice, which is normally a negative version of this. You just choose any of them. That I'm going to do well, I'm going to do great, I'm going to do amazing. I didn't care. I just want to see where your brain was. Was your brain thinking positive? And we will know whose brain was thinking positive when we see who answered fastest for that question. They were like, yes, I'm going to do well, I'm going to do well. That's what it's about. You are going to do well. Because it's about, if you already know you were going to do well, because you're already involved, you can really see where you're at. You can check your grades and see how you're doing. Of course, you're going to do well. All right, here we go. Drum roll. On the top of the leaderboard, who have we got? Who is it? The fastest was Cat, and standing on the top of the podium is the sun himself. Sun, well done. Everyone goes crazy. Yeah. Confetti comes down. Well done to the sun that shone almost, I think, from the start at the top. Well done, 11,948 points. And in second place, none other than Lombo, followed by Cat. Well done. I think, Cat, you sneaked up there with the fastest answer to that. Well done. And Cat, you deserve special mention because you were quick to say, yes, I'm going to do well. But well done to everyone else who is in that top list. You have all done really, really well. And to everyone who played along in the games, well done to all of you. Your prizes, of course, are in the post. Will come to you. So For me, it has been super fun. Thank you, everyone, for both your participation online so far in the online portions and everything we've been doing, for your posts, for your comments. I get messages from you and questions and whatever in our different forums. Thanks for those and for interacting. And yeah, just enjoy the last little bit this week, and then just into next week, and then you'll be starting your next part of your journey and finishing off with the networking part. But I'm sure it's going to be also super fun. So you're getting already close to the end, most of you, of your degrees. This is like, I know it's longer than we expected. We thought it would all be finished by now, but times have changed. So, but you are really close to the end of your bachelor's degrees for most of you. So well done on that. Just tie it up. And I hope that I will see some of you next year in my honors class. One of the fun things, the honors class, we for years, we've been doing our honors classes in a very online type way. Don't have exams because, as I said, I don't think that's a very effective way of doing things. We have so many fun things. If we are able to have sessions, we have things that are done in the TV studios. We do all sorts of really cool things, all around making learning active and creating artifacts of your learning that you can then take out, which to me is really important. So on that note, super, it's wonderful to have you. If there are any questions that you have, you can pop them in now. I'll quickly look at the chat room for a second, just in case anyone has a question in the chat room. Otherwise, you are free to. Yes, it is live on YouTube. So I'll put a link to the recording for those who want to watch it again. Because, you know, it's like those great shows that you just got to watch multiple times. Will we have an aggro? And no, there's no need for an aggro unless you've got some terrible ailment on the dial, and then you'll have to give me, and then you've got to go through a big drama of submitting medical things and whatever. But anyway, if for some reason you do miss the test on the day, we will be doing something special for you. Don't worry. We will make a plan for that. There is the potential that some of you may get selected because you're super special to have a Zoom like this, but an actual Zoom oral type exam. But that's only if there is any suspicion about activity, if the external examiner thinks that. But otherwise, it's just all online. Will the answers to this activated Zoom count towards our final one? I love it how everyone wants to know about what counts for marks. It's about the learning, and the answers here count for nothing. This is all about learning. Whatever you answered here was just for fun, and even more important, it wasn't just for fun, it was to help you with your learning. So as I said before, that's why we have all of these things. So this was merely a learning experience. So you don't have to worry about that, and you didn't have to submit anything if you didn't want to. Right, so any other last questions you have? Anything? Question? No. No, unfortunately, we can't write the test before that date at the moment because that is the date that has been allocated. So we can't do it before that date. So it has to all be done by everyone in that period because that's the way they want these tests done in a specific period. Everyone does it at the same time. Even though you will all get different questions. How much further can we go past the 4 minutes in our assignment? Good question, that one. I've had a few people ask me this, and like, can we make it like 7 minutes? No, you can't. The very important thing is, and I talked about one of the pedagogies, which is the pedagogy of chaos. And why that pedagogy is very powerful is it's about the ability to distill lots of stuff down to something small. It's very difficult, and that's part of the reason for this is forcing you to distill. And one of the hardest things you'll find going through life, especially if you get into academic life, is how do you cut? You write a research paper and it's too long, and you've got to, what do I take out? And you're going to find this over and over again. You're going to find that you have to submit, like I've said, a CV, and I think I had that in the resume section, and you've got to cut it down. And so to answer that, I don't mind if you go a little bit over 4 minutes. So if you go to 4 minutes, but if you go to 5 or beyond, you're going to be penalized. So now if you go to 4 and it's 4.5 or 4:40 or whatever, that's fine. But I don't want you going into the 5s. Okay. So show me that you can get it down succinct and powerful. Any other final questions before you all go out? And I'll turn around and get a coffee from the back there. I'll have a nice, I'll have a flat white, please. Yeah. It's always best to do these things, you know, in a coffee shop. And right, maybe I'll just put my glasses on so that I can see you clearly. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? No, last chance, final questions before everything changes. Okay, there's nothing else you need to know. Okay, that is super fantastic. Yep, super fantastic. So on that note, I'll say au revoir. It's been super awesome having you all here. And I look forward to seeing you online. Oh, I've got one that sneaked in about the two-phase lock. We has not understood the question. What does the question mean? How does my hat look? I think the hat looks pretty cool. Where is your mask? Yes, I should have the mask on. I think it is very important in the modern day and age to have the mask. I can put the mask on. There we go. I wanted a mask. I've got a mask. All right. There was a question there. Where is your mask? About the two-phase. Okay, Cecily, I didn't understand what that question meant about the two-phase. Looked like half a question. Where's your mask? I've solved that one. Like and subscribe. Yeah, that's right. Like and subscribe. I have the mask on. I don't even have, what is that? Oh, I could have that mask. Oh, my super cool, John Lennon. How are locks going to be released if no unlock operation can precede the unlock? No unlock can precede a lock. So what it's saying is, at the end of the day, you have this process of lock. Remember, it's two phases, and then unlock. So we don't have, and I think I explained in this video, we don't have what's called the Lulu. Lock, unlock. You don't want to do that. The way you do it is you acquire all your locks, lock, and then you unlock everything. And the reason for that is if you lock and unlock, you end up revealing partial results of stuff that's not finished. So I unlocked this, I finished with this part of it, lock something else, and then I need to go back to this one because I've got a problem and it's too late because something else has come in and locked it and seen the inconsistent, it's called inconsistent retrieval. And so that's why it's lock, unlock. Some say he made a flat white for Chuck Norris during his lecture. Yeah, I like flat whites, and I don't know. You made a flat white for Chuck Norris. Okay. Right. If we're doing a game for the assessment, is the constraint with regards to what is this rate? Well, obviously a game is a little bit difficult because a game is not necessarily time-based. I can't say your game must be 5 minutes because that might be it. You've obviously got a little bit more freedom in a game to create it. It doesn't have to be solved in a certain thing, but if you've gone and built a complete fortnight game around this, that's going to take a month to do, well done. So there's no specific restriction in terms of quantifiable restriction in terms of the game. I'm just looking again. Remember, these are about demonstrating aspects of database in creative ways. So there needs to be learning. So someone, for example, asked about doing a crossword. Now, while that's an interesting thing, the crossword in itself is more of an assessment than also helping teach something. So if you are doing a game or whatever, it needs to somehow be teaching, even if it's got some sort of assessment built in. So that's important. Right. Anything else before we all head off into the great wilds? Yeah. So Hangman again. Hangman, as someone has asked there, that would again, it's asking questions in order for you to do the Hangman game, which is fun, but somehow there needs to be also, because now you're focusing much more on assessment there. How do I learn something about this? Unless there's some way in the Hangman it says, all right, you didn't quite get that right. This is actually what it is. So you need to bring in some sort of teaching element to make it seem accurate. Right. Any final other ones before my eyes get sore with all these things that I'm having to wear? Okay. Fantastic. I think you have all done super well. You all deserve a prize. So there is the first prize for all of you. Well done. And I will see you all online. So enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you online inside our Moodle course. Great having you. Cheers.